Hi, everybody. It's Deborah from PeopleLovingAnimals.com. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching my video today. Today's video is called Why Your Cat is a Nervous Wreck. In this video, we're going to be going over 10 things that could potentially stress your cat out, and we're going to give you the way to solve it. So I hope by the end of the video, you're going to get some good ideas about why your cat might be a nervous wreck, and hopefully by the end of the video, you're going to have the solution to it. Now, I just want to direct you to where we're hanging out here. We are on my website, PeopleLovingAnimals.com. If you've been here before, you already know about this. If you have not been here before, welcome. This is a website that is dedicated to the love, support, caring, and training of cats and dogs specifically. We have dozens of articles and videos and blog posts on this website all about caring for your pet, training your pet. If you have behavioral issues with your pet, health issues with your cat or your dog, all kinds of topics. And we are going to use this article called Cat Stress Relievers, 10 Things That Stress Your Cat Out, for the purpose of our video today. Now, in the description box of this video, I'm going to give you the link to this article, and as we go through, you're going to see it's going to list the 10 things that we're talking about. I'm going to give you links to different resources, and I'm also going to be referring in this video to other videos and articles that are going to help you with some of the topics that we're going to be talking about today. So you're going to have the link to this article. You're going to be able to go in here. You're going to be able to read the whole thing if you want to. You're going to be able to click everything in it. Also, any videos or links or resources that I mention in today's video will also be linked in the description box. So just so you know, you don't have to try to take notes on this. This is going to be available to you via the links in the description box. I do want to just give you a heads up at the end of the video. I am going to have a free gift for you, so I would like it if you'd stay tuned to the end. And if you do find value in this video, please give it a like. It really helps YouTubers when you do that. I'm trying to grow my channel. And also subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I do a video at least once a week all about cats and dogs. So I would love to have you on board as a fellow pet lover and a fellow pet lover. So let's get into the videos. Many of us know that cats can be easily stressed. It's not true of all cats, but as a general rule, cats do tend to be a nervous wreck. They do tend to be a little on the nervous side. They're far less easygoing than a dog, for example. And sometimes it's a major change, like if your family moves, or if you get married, or if you bring home a dog, or if you bring home another cat, or if you bring home a new baby. Sometimes it's a major stressor that, oh my God, the cat is having a stroke, But a lot of times it's just everyday normal stuff. Just a minor change in a cat's routine or your routine can really stress out a cat. Okay, so that it can be just some everyday things that are going on that are causing your cat to be stressed out. So you might find one of the things on today's list that might be the solution for you. You might find several of the things on today's list could be stressing your cat out. So hopefully, I really hope that today's video is helpful for you. And I hope that you end up coming back to comment later to tell me that something of these ideas worked. I really hope so. Look at this little sweetie. He's very stressed out over something. Now, one of the reasons that cats do become so stressed out is just by nature. Cats are generally independent. I don't know if you know, but naturally cats are nocturnal. A lot of people don't know that. So they're kind of out of their element in general when they're living with humans because, they're having to stay awake during the day and sleep at night. So they're a little off their game kind of to begin with because they're naturally nocturnal. And I don't know about you, but when I had, at one point I had two cats that were about the same age, and those two cats would stay up all night. Now, fortunately for me, I had a basement and they loved to play in the basement. And they would run down those stairs, the two of them. They'd sound like a herd of elephants, and they would just, horseplay all night long. And luckily, it didn't really keep me up at night and stuff. And I worked during the day, so they were able to sleep during the day. And, it wasn't a problem. But when they say cats are nocturnal, I believe it because mine have always preferred to sleep all day and be up all night. So, that's one of the things. But also, cats are very independent. they're loners in general. Cats, there's lots of cats that are real snuggle bugs, and there's lots of cats that don't care whether you live or die. I've had both. But generally they're independent. They like to be in control. They like to have control of their environment. And so when things are happening that interfere with any of that, it can stress your cat out. So let's talk about the 10 things. One of the things that can stress your cat out is if you're punishing him for acting like a cat, especially if you have a young cat. Cats are very active. Cats need toys. They need mental stimulation. They need physical activity. They need to play. They need attention. They need all these things. So don't get mad for your cat acting like a cat. For example, if he's doing something that you don't like, redirect him to do something that you do like. If he's like, for example, look at this cat here. This lady is like trying to work. This cat wants her attention. He wants to play, whatever. She's trying to work. This could be annoying to her. Okay, well, if you don't have time to play with him right now, give him a toy. Pick him up and put him on a scratching post, or get him a kitty condo or something. I'm giving you a couple of links in here for things like a kitty play condo, a scratching post. Go on Amazon for cheap. Buy something for your cat. Make sure that they have toys. Yelling at your cat is not going to accomplish anything, or hitting your cat is never, ever okay. All that's going to do is teach the cat to scare you. It's not going to teach the cat anything but to be afraid of you. Instead, what you need to do is just redirect him to do what you want him to do. If he's bugging you, and if he's like crazy and trying to get you to play and interrupting you and everything, try to get him some toys. Try to get him some interactive toys. Like I say here, a kitty condo, a scratching post. Make sure your cat has his own stuff to do, so he'll stay out of your stuff. Okay. Now, just as a side note, this little cat here, this warms my heart. I had one of my cats. If you've subscribed to my channel, you've heard about her before. I had her for 20 years. For example, when I would read the newspaper, I liked to lay on the living room floor and open up the newspaper, and I would lay there and I would read the newspaper, and she would come and she would lay right across the newspaper. And it warmed my heart so. It was just the sweetest thing. It was her wanting to spend time with me. Now, could I have gotten ticked off and mad at her because I'm trying to read the newspaper? Do you know what I mean? But what this brings to mind when I see this cat here is that, we've all been irritated with our pets, and, they're demanding of our time and our attention. And sometimes we're just trying to get something done. We're trying to read a book. We're trying to make dinner. We're trying to work. We're trying to do whatever. And your cat is bugging you. But you know what? Cats and dogs only live an average of 15 years. And, we just don't have them that long. So whenever I think of this issue, punishing them for acting like a cat when they're bugging you, this cat trying to get this lady's attention when she's clearly trying to work on the computer, we do have to keep in mind, don't take their presence for granted. There will come a time when you would give anything for the cat to show up and lay on the newspaper while you're trying to read it. There'll come a time when this lady would give anything for this little cat to sit here with his little paw, So try not to take it for granted. And that's a good way to develop patience with your cat, is to realize they're not going to be there, relative to our lifespan. We don't get to keep them very long, It's just a little aside. Okay, number 2, that might stress your cat out. Assuming he understands what you're saying. Cats don't understand when you're saying, they don't understand when you're talking to them. It's just not effective. No matter how many times you lecture your cat, it's just not effective. Cats, just like any other animals, you have to show them. You really do have to show them. So if your cat is doing something that you don't want him to do, again, redirect him to what you do want him to do. If your cat is, chewing on your foot, take his mouth off your foot, put it on one of his toys, and then give him praise and affection when he's chewing on his toys. You got to just show him. If you want your cat to use the litter box, pick him up, put him in the litter box. When he's done, reward him with either affection or a treat. If your cat is doing something that you don't want him to do, redirect him to something that is okay for him to do, and then always make sure that you give affection or treats when they're doing what you want him to do. So don't try to teach your cat by speaking to him. Don't try to teach your cat commands like sit or stay or anything. it's really a waste of time. It's much more effective for you to show your cat, show him what you want him to do. Don't try to just talk to him, because he's not going to understand. For more information about how to train your cat, I do have a video called How to Train a Cat, and it does include the cat training program that I recommend on my peoplelovinganimals.com website. It's called Ultimate Cats. And again, in this article, you'll be able to click on this video and watch it. I'm also going to give you the link to the video in the description box. And it's a very thorough video about cat training, and it will refer you to the Ultimate Cats cat training that is the one that I recommend on my website, that will cover virtually any cat training issue that you might have. And it's such a thorough program. It actually also covers things like cat pregnancy, like, all kinds of things. So it's only $37. It does come with a money back guarantee. So I recommend that if you are having any sort of training issues with your cat, watch this video, and like I said, that'll give you some help with that. Third thing that can stress your cat out: grasping his head. Dogs like it when you come up to them and you grasp their face and you rough up their ears and stuff. Dogs generally like that. Not every dog, but dogs as a general rule like that. Cats as a general rule don't. They don't like to be roughed up. They don't like to be messed with. Teach your kids this. If you have kids in the house, they might be the thing that is stressing your cat out. Cats don't like to be messed with as a general rule. They don't like to be picked up. They don't like to be held down. They don't like to be roughed up. They prefer gentle, long strokes from their head to their tail. That's the kind of affection that most cats prefer. So if you or the kids are constantly approaching the cat and you're all over the cat, it's going to stress the cat out a lot. Okay? It's going to stress the cat out a lot. Number 4, it goes along the same thing, holding on to him or hug him or kiss him. I have a funny story about this. I had a tomcat named Myron, and I had him for 14 years. He was a beautiful boy. He was a handsome tomcat. He was very tall. But anyway, Myron, I had him from the time that he was born, because I had his mother. I was in the room when he was born, so I had him since he was a tiny baby. And for the first full year of Myron's life, I had to hold him every day. Every day he would come to me, and I would have to pick him up and snuggle him and hold him. And if I didn't, I couldn't do anything else. Meow, 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 meow. Got to pick up the cat. Got to pick up the cat. For 1 year to the calendar day, he would make me hold him every day. Then all of a sudden, he turned a year old. All of a sudden, didn't care if I lived or died. And at that point, not only did he not come to me anymore to be held every day, he wouldn't let me hold him. For the next 13 years, the cat wouldn't let me hold him. He didn't want me to pick him up. He didn't want me to snuggle him. The only thing that I could get away with was I would come up behind him. Say, look, if he's standing on the kitchen floor, I would come up behind him and I would kind of pick him up under the armpits and rub his belly and kind of hold him like you would a toddler, like you come up behind a toddler and you kind of just give him a snuggle. That's all I could get away with. And I had to make it quick so I didn't get my face ripped off. So it's just always struck me as odd. For every day for the first year, that cat demanded I hold him every day, and then all of a sudden it was all over. It's all over after a year. But when you try to hold your cat, they may perceive it as being restrained, which is what a predator does when they catch a cat in the wild. Okay, so cats by nature as a primal survival strategy do not prefer to be held down. They don't prefer to be caught. Okay, you can understand from their primal instincts why that would be a very dangerous thing. They gotta always feel like they can escape. Now, if you look at this picture here, this is very sweet. Obviously, this guy is snuggling with the cat, but he's just got his arm loosely around the cat. You can see the cat is free to go. Okay, the cat is not being held down. Now, I'm sure if this guy tightened his arm around that cat and held it, the cat might scratch his face off. The cat would probably leap from his arms, but as you can see, this cat is just being gently snuggled, and the cat is free to go. So just try to keep in mind, if you're going to hold your cat or snuggle your cat, even if they like it, if they come to you and they want to be held, when they're ready to be let down, let them down. Don't try to keep holding on to them. Also, if you're like me, you've had your chest ripped apart a couple of times from a cat with full claws leaping from your chest. Okay. Also, you got to teach your kids that, because, kids can be really hurt by a cat if they're trying to hold on to the cat and that cat struggles to get away and the kid won't let the cat go. All of a sudden the claws come out and you got lethal weapons here that are drawing blood. All right. I'm not being dramatic. This has happened to me. I have had a cat leap from my chest and leave blood marks on the way out. Okay. So you have to be careful with this. It is dangerous, but also it is stressing the cat out. They don't want to be held down. They don't want to be held captive. So whenever you're holding them, snuggling them, picking them up, make sure that they have an escape route, that they're not being restrained. Okay. That could be something that is really stressing your cat out. Number 5, it could be stressing your cat out if you're not taking care of the litter box. I'm going to refer you in a minute to a video that I made about how to get your cat to use the litter box. And it's actually kind of it may be more complex than you think. There are more issues around a cat using a litter box than you think. And I went over it in that video, and I'm not going to go over everything here. I'm just going to give you a quick overview here. But for example, many cats will get stressed out if their litter box is not clean. The same cat that I told you about, the one that I had for 20 years, she would not go in the litter box if it was not clean. Now, luckily for the bulk of her life, I had a basement, and the litter box was in the basement. If the litter box was not clean, she would poop on the floor next to the litter box. Luckily for me, like I said, it was in the basement, so it was, wasn't my living room carpet, but still. A lot of cats, they're very clean animals by nature. And if they're going to the litter box and it's filthy, it's going to stress them out. They're going to be like, I don't know where to pee. I don't know where to pee. Do you know what I mean? And then they start to pee in other places. And then you're visibly upset. You're angry with them. You're yelling at them, whatever. Do you see what I mean? If you're not taking care of the litter box, then it's probably stressing out your cat. Your litter box should be scooped once a day. Just keep a plastic bag or some sort of container of some sort next to it. Scoop it every day. Throw that bag out once a week. And then once a week, the litter box should be dumped and rinsed out and fresh litter put in. Okay, once a week. If you have more than one cat, well, first of all, if you have more than one cat, that might be a problem in itself, that they're having to share the litter box. But if you have more than one cat using the same litter box, then you need to scoop it a couple times a day. You need to change it a minimum of once a week, and you got to keep up on it, because it's going to stress your cat out if they're going to the litter box and it's filthy every time. They want to be able to go in it. They want to be able to do their business. They want to be able to bury it. And a dirty litter box can really stress a cat out. I do give you a link in here for a self-cleaning litter box, if you want to go there and check that out. Now, here's the video. And again, you've got it if you go to this article. I'm also going to give you the link to it in the description box, how to get the cat to use the litter box. And like I said, it's a really thorough video, and it gives a lot of information of all the reasons why your cat might not be using the litter box and how you can get them to want to use the litter box. And it's information that you need to know as a cat owner. And going along with that, number 6, picking a bad location for the litter box. Cats like quiet as a general rule. Most cats are private. That's why a lot of times, if you have an open litter box, you might want to consider getting a covered litter box. If you have a cat who's a nervous wreck, that might be one of the things that's upsetting the cat. You should have the litter box in a quiet place. You don't want it in a place where the cat's going to be trying to use the litter box and there's noise, or people are going to walk up, or the dog's going to walk by, or something like that. Try to have the litter box in a quiet, secluded, private area of your house if you can. That might be one of the things that's stressing your cat out. Also, keep in mind, if your cat is elderly or if they have any sort of a health condition, it might be that, like I said earlier, maybe all the cat's life you've had the litter box in the basement. Well, maybe the cat really can't do the stairs anymore. If they have arthritis and it's actually painful for them to go up and down the stairs, that would cause an enormous amount of stress for them, because it's so hard for them to get to their litter box, and they're having to go to the bathroom. They're procrastinating because they don't want to try to do the stairs. So keep that in mind, the location of your litter box. But you know what? Whether you're having a problem with your cat in the litter box or not, I do recommend that you watch this video, because for the rest of your cat's life, you're going to need to know if there's ever a problem. Now, again, I'm referring to that The one cat, I've had several cats, but this one cat keeps coming up. The one that I had for 20 years. I had her for, I don't know, probably 15 years. Never had a problem with her. She always used a litter box. Now, she's the one I had to keep the litter box clean. Otherwise, she wouldn't go in it. But if I kept the litter box clean, she was litter box trained, and I never had a problem with her peeing anywhere else. Well, all of a sudden, when she was about 15 years old, she started peeing on my bathroom mat. And, what's up with that? I couldn't figure it out. Well, I ended up taking her to the vet, and she had a bladder stone. Okay, so if you have a bladder stone, or if she had even a simple urinary tract infection, it hurts when you pee. All right. And the vet said to me, she has a bladder stone, therefore it hurts when she pees. She thinks it has something to do with the litter box. So she had begun peeing different places in the house, trying to find a place where she could pee that didn't hurt. Now, first of all, doesn't that open your eyes to how we give too much credit to our pets? Do you know what I mean? They can't think things through the way we think they ought to be able to. Do you understand? I heard a comedian once say that he was his kitten, he got a new kitten, and the kitten was hanging from the drapes all the time. And somebody suggested he get a squirt gun, and every time the kitten's hanging from the drapes, squirt him with the squirt gun. Well, it's effective, but it's not effective because the kitten says in his little kitten brain, oh my God, every time I jump on this curtain, I get sprayed with a squirt gun. No, they're not smart enough to think it through. The cat head thinks it has something to do with the curtains. The kitten thinks it has something to do with the curtains. Do you see what I mean? So their thought processes they're not as complex as ours. Cats and dogs can't reason through things like sometimes we think they can. Okay, so just, that example, she wouldn't use the litter box because it hurt to pee, and she assumed it had something to do with the litter box. But my point is, I had that cat 15 years and never had a problem. All of a sudden, she won't pee in the litter box. And luckily, I was able to find out why. And $1,000 later, watch my video about getting pet insurance for your cat. She had surgery and had that bladder stone removed, and she was okay after that. And she lived to be 20 years old. But like I said, watch the litter box video, because if you're not having an issue now, you may at some point in your cat's life, and you want to make sure that you know what you're doing with it. Okay. Number 7, don't get mad at your cat when he attacks. It's tempting and fun to wiggle your toes and fingers under the blanket to watch your cat's reaction, but it's also actually really stupid of you to be surprised when he sinks his claws and his teeth into you. Chances are, it says in the article here, if you're mimicking the behavior of prey, your cat will attack. I've got a video. I don't link it here in this article, but I'll link it for you down below. And if I forget, I'm going to give you my link to my playlist for cat training, so you'll find the video on it, how to stop your cat from biting. And generally, not always, there's lots of reasons that cats will bite, and I go over it in that video. But as a general rule, if your cat's biting, you probably taught him to. You probably taught him to when he was a baby. You play with toys, you put your fingers in his mouth. Oh, isn't this cute? Isn't this cute? Well, then, they get older and the biting becomes a problem. So, don't get mad when the cat attacks. If something is acting like prey, if something's moving quickly, the cat's going to attack. He's a cat. That's what they do. Okay, so try not to get mad about that. And again, you can watch the video about how to stop your cat from biting. But one of the tips I give in that video is, redirecting. If your cat's chewing on your hand, take away your hand, give him a toy to chew on, and then praise him when he's chewing on the toy. Show them what they can bite. Show them what they can attack. Okay? And if your cat is constantly attacking you, first of all, if they're a kitten, it takes about a year. For kittens to get past that constant attack behavior. I'm laughing because it just cracks me up. I remember one of the kittens I had, Abigail. I called her Miss Abigail. She was the cutest thing. And she would attack my older cat all the time. And it was just, I felt so bad. The older cat was just sweetest cat. She would never do anything mean to Abigail. And she just put up with it. And I said to the vet, oh my God. And the vet said, it's going to take about a year, for these attacking behaviors to stop. So if you have a kitten it and just try to brave through the year. But if you have a cat who's attacking you all the time, obviously, they need more. They need more toys. They need more activity. If you get on the floor and play with your cat for 10 minutes, it might save you a whole evening of getting attacked. Do you know what I mean? Help them burn up their energy. Cats are very active animals, especially if it's a young cat. All right, number 8 of the things that can stress your cat out, leaving your cat alone for days at a time. Some people think that because cats are generally loners and because they don't have to be outside to go to the bathroom, that it's okay to leave them alone for hours and hours or days. First of all, it's not healthy for a cat to have a strictly dry diet. If you don't know about that, go to my website. I'm trying to think of the keywords. If you did a search, food for cats. I think I have a video on it, but I'm not absolutely sure about the best foods for cats. But cats need a moist diet. They don't drink water like a dog does, and they can have a lot of urinary and digestive and kidney problems later in life if they live strictly on a dry diet. So leaving your cat alone for the weekend with a big bowl of dry food, it's not healthy for your cat. They need to have moist cat food every day. Okay. So that's one of the reasons they shouldn't be left for long periods of time. Another thing is the litter box. The litter box needs to be attended to. It needs to be cleaned. It's going to stress your cat out if the litter box isn't being cleaned and they're left alone in the house. And, just being alone, nobody's around. I would suggest if you've got to leave your cat alone for any length of time, have a trusted neighbor or a friend or a relative stop by every day and give your cat some moist food. Make sure their water dish is clean. Make sure they have food. Some cats will gorge themselves. Like if you went away for the weekend and you left a big bowl of food, some cats will gorge themselves. They will eat that whole bowl within a few hours of you leaving, and then they throw up, and then they're gone. The rest of the weekend, they've got nothing to eat. Okay. And it's very stressful for them. So, just don't think of your cat as this self-sufficient, independent. No, they need care. Just like, don't treat your cat kind of any differently than you would treat a small child. Do you know what I mean? Like a 5-year-old. Yeah, 5-year-old can manage to go to the fridge and make himself a bowl of Cheerios. But that doesn't mean he should be left alone for the weekend. Do you know what I mean? The other thing too is, cats can become ill. They can become injured. If you're not there, there's nobody to help them. So I do have a video, How Long Can I Leave a Cat at Home? And it talks about a lot of the different things that can happen and all the reasons why you shouldn't leave a cat home alone for long periods of time. And in that video, I also give a lot of strategies and a lot of help to, what do you do if you have to be away? What do you do if you have to be on vacation? Cats are generally better off at home with a neighbor or somebody stopping by. Cats don't do well with being boarded, like at a shelter or a vet's office. They generally don't do well with that. So it is better if you can have your cat at home and have somebody coming in. But again, don't just leave for the weekend. Don't leave for a week. And, I always say, just because the cat's still alive when you get back doesn't mean that it was okay. All right. So again, if you're leaving your cat alone for long periods of time, it could be causing stress for them. They may think that they're going to run out of food. They may think that, their litter box isn't going to be clean. They may think you're never coming back. They may be scared of the noises in the neighborhood or in the house or, so that might be one of the things that is stressing your cat out. We're getting towards the end of the list. Number 9, this is one that I didn't know for a lot of years, and I try not to think back to how much I might have been bugging my cats with this. Using scented candles, plug-ins, perfume, or strong smelling chemicals. The thing that you need to keep in mind is that everything that you smell, cats smell 10 times stronger. They have a very keen sense of smell. So imagine, say if you had a vanilla scented candle, okay, light it, smell it. Now try to imagine that scent 10 times stronger. It gets worse when you're talking about plugins, when you talk about perfume. If you're talking about strong smelling cleaning products or even a room deodorizer, just try to imagine the smell of those things and then multiply it by 10. Your cat can't stand it. It can make the cat hyperventilate. It can make the cat vomit. A lot of these sorts of things can be toxic to your cat. Keep in mind that your cat lives on the floor, sleeps in the bed with blankets. If you use a half a gallon of strong smelling fabric softener in your laundry and you're trying, your cat's laying on that blanket, again, might smell good to you, but multiply that scent by 10 and it'd make you barf. It's like, so that might be one of the things that's stressing your cat out if they're just uncomfortable in the house. Like, you put this stupid, I call them stupid because I think they're useless. These, carpet freshener powders. If you have a cat, the cat's got to live on that floor. And when you consider whatever the scent of that is, first of all, I think the scents are sickening. I don't know. They're just too strong. They're icky. But if your cat's walking around on the floor, laying on the floor, and their sense of smell is 10 times stronger than yours, just imagine what you've just done to the cat if you've just covered your living room floor in this scented carpet crap. And even though you vacuum it, again, the cat's blankets, the cat's bedding, if you're using the strong scented fabric softener, if you're using, if you wash the kitchen floor with Pine Sol, all right, and then the cat's food bowl is on that floor, how are they supposed to get past the Pine Sol smell to get to their food? And then how are they supposed to drink water and eat food when they're nauseated by this pine smell? And if you say, oh, it's not that bad, to you it's not, but to the cat it's tenfold. Okay, so you just have to be cognizant of that. I do give you a link in the article for an organic, non-toxic home cleaner. So try to keep that in mind, that certain smells in your house might be adding to your cat's stress because they're just not comfortable. Oh, we just came across this ad, Ultimate Cat Secrets. This is on my website, and that's the cat training program that I was telling you about, and I'll give you the link to it in the description box. Okay, number 10 on our list, bringing home other cats. Cats fighting is a really stressful thing. Obviously, they can get hurt. People can get hurt. Kids can get hurt trying to break up a cat fight. And it's very, very upsetting, especially to the cat who is not the aggressor. All right. I could cry when I think of the cat who is not the aggressor and how scared that cat must be to have to physically fight. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to talk about this one for a couple of minutes because it's important. Any new living thing that you bring into your home, whether it's a guest or a new cat or a dog or a baby or anything, is going to cause at least temporary stress for your cat. If you're going to bring home a dog or a cat, you got to make sure you kind of keep them separated at first, introduce them slowly, let them get used to each other at their own pace. Don't force them to be together. If you're bringing a new cat in the house, don't make them share the litter box. If they eventually like each other and they eventually share the food dishes and they share the litter box, then that's fine. But when they're brand new and a new cat is being introduced into the home, don't make them share the food and water, and don't make them share the litter box. Keep them separate first and let them get to know each other on their own terms. Now, I do have 2 articles in this article, and I'm also going to give you the links to these in the description box. One of the articles is called How to Stop Cats from Fighting, and it includes a video. The other article is called How to Break Up a Cat Fight, and there's a video included in that article. In the article, How to Stop Cats from Fighting, this talks about a whole list of reasons why cats will fight, and some of them you might find surprising. So if you're getting another cat, or if you have more than one cat and some or all or both of the cats are fighting, I strongly encourage you to read that article, watch the video inside it so that you can get it solved, because cat fighting is dangerous and it's enormously stressful for both the cats, but like I say, especially the one who is not the aggressor. And then the second article and video is about how to safely break up a cat fight if they're fighting. So if your cat is living in a house where he feels he needs to fight, whether he feels he needs to be the aggressor to protect his territory or whatever reason he's fighting, or if he's the other cat that is being attacked and feels like he has to, you can imagine the stress levels that would bring. Okay. So we've gone over these kind of top 10 things that might stress your cat out. I hope that this is helpful for you. I hope that within this list you have found the solution to why your cat might be a nervous wreck. I would suggest that you go to this article, review it with your family. If you have a spouse and kids, you should all be on the same page about this, and maybe just go over the list and try to decide, try to put some of these things in place and see if the cat calms down. The other thing that you definitely want to do is take your cat to the vet if you feel like there's something really wrong with the cat. If your cat is panting a lot, if he's hyperventilating, if your cat is screaming, if your cat is, hidden, won't let anybody come near it, won't let anybody touch it, all these sorts of things, it could very well be a medical problem. Okay, so if you feel like the cat's a nervous wreck, but seems like there's really something wrong with the cat, take the cat to the vet. And even if they're not showing any, really severe symptoms or anything, if you have a cat and you feel like is stressed out, take the cat to the vet and tell the vet, my cat's a nervous wreck. This is the ways, some of the symptoms the cat is showing that makes me feel like he's stressed out. And the vet, I'm sure, will also have some really good advice for you on things you can do to relieve your cat's stress. And, it is very important with any living thing. If we are under an enormous amount of stress or even a moderate amount of stress for any length of time, it can manifest into physical illness. Okay. And the same is true with cats. If they're stressed out all the time, they could very well become ill, and you're going to shorten the cat's life. You're going to increase your vet bills for the cat. They're going to end up having urinary tract infections. They're going to have, digestive disorders, those sorts of things that all kind of naturally come from stress, as well as things like cancer, just like people. If they're stressed out for long periods of time and you're not able to get that stress under control, it can very well manifest into physical illness. And plus, it manifests into your cat being unhappy. So if your cat is stressed out, I give you a lot of credit for being here and for trying to find the answers for your cat. So I really hope that this article has helped. A couple of things before we go. In the description box of this video, I'm going to give you the link to this article. I'm going to give you the link to everything we talked about in it. I'm going to give you the link to some of the other videos that we talked about. I'm going to give you the link to the Ultimate Cats cat training that we talked about. And I promised you a free gift. There's also a link in the description box to, I'm sorry, my timer's going off for my laundry. I'm giving you a link in the description box to subscribe to my cat lovers email list. And if you're subscribed to that list, about every 5 or 7 days, you'll get an article from peoplelovinganimals.com, and it'll be all about cats, training of cats, caring for cats, all kinds of things having to do with cats. You can unsubscribe from the list at any time, but when you subscribe in the link that I'm giving you, you'll get a free gift. It's a really cute little cat training booklet that gives you lots of advice about taking care of your cat and any behavioral issues you may be having with your cat. And you will receive that instantly as a free gift for subscribing to the Cat Lovers email list. So again, I hope this has been helpful. Please feel free to comment below and share information with me and also anybody else watching this video. Let's put our heads together and take as good of care of our beloved cats as we possibly can. Okay, so again, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you so much. Please subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Give the video a thumbs up if you got any value from it, and please share it with your friends who are also cat lovers. Again, my name is Deborah, and my website is peoplelovinganimals.com. Thanks again. Bye-bye.